Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope this face reveal is not shocking for everybody, but the topic of this video made me decide that I want to talk to you first before we are going to my planner and we're going to be seeing just my hands the way you saw it before. And today I wanted to talk to you about all the ways that I am preparing myself and my planner for the upcoming year. I think we can all agree that it is the most popular topic of the videos that I've been posting on the planner side of the YouTube, and I'm not against that. I like planner frenzy. I like, reminiscing and thinking about, what I want to do for next year, what worked and what didn't work last year. But I think it came to a point where it's just all about, this is how many planners I bought, this is like how I'm going to be hopping them and stuff like this, and it hardly gives me any sense of stability about my own system, because just the idea that people are already preparing that they're not going to be consistent and faithful to the system that they have created for themselves is a little bit unnerving for me personally. But I know you can share your thoughts in the comments. And honestly, I think that the money that people are spending on their planners also made me stop watching this type of videos, because I don't have that much money and I don't wish to have them in order to spend them all on the planners. And it kind of made me, feeling self-conscious about like how much money we have and whether it's enough or not if I cannot afford this type of things. I wanted to talk about like my routine to prepare for the new year, but also explain to you how I am focusing more on like mental and physical preparation instead of like just buying things. And I hope you can find something for yourself in this video and come on in. I have this little notepad from Dollar Tree, 125, there you go. And I have written down like different areas of my life, like physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, how I am preparing in each of these areas. But I think most of these things, they either cover many of them, so I'll go not necessarily in this order, but just wanted to give you an idea of how you can think about this, because it's kind of difficult to understand, because our lives are so complex. And for some, you can just do like work and family and that'll be enough. For others, it may be work and school and children and husband. There's just so many ways to look at it. But for me, I thought this like layout would be working the most perfectly, because I have a lot of roles that I'm playing, but these are about the spheres that they all cover. One like intention that I was going with into this process, and the feeling that really drew me towards this process, was that I don't have enough space in my life. In the beginning of 2024, I have set a lot of goals for myself, and some of them I've completed, but some of them I didn't even touch because there were so many other things that I didn't plan for. For example, in the beginning of the year, I thought that this is going to be just a normal year. I'm going to be working, I'm going to be doing a lot of work for my church, and mostly I'll just be free. But then in March 2024, God led me towards the decision to apply for the University of Washington drama program. And it was not something that I was planning for. I do love drama and I do like acting, but it was like something from very distant past. And I thought, I have tried to apply for a college here as soon as we arrived from Russia 1.5 years ago, and it just didn't work, and God just shut the door in front of my face. And I thought that, well, it means that just God doesn't want me to go and study. It's okay, I guess. If that's what he wants, I'm fine. I'll just keep working the same way I was working before. I'm used to, to be a workhorse by now. And then it really surprised me when God wanted me to, try and walk down this path. I started the process, and you cannot imagine the length and the complexity of the process that I had to go through in order to get into the University of Washington. But by God's grace, I am going there like in less than a month. My first class is on January the 6th. But before that, I also had to go to a community college, and I also finished 2 quarters in Renton Technical College in order to get some credits that are like general education kind of thing. And I also didn't plan for any of that, to be honest. And so it was just such a major change from what my plans originally looked like. But does it mean that because my plans changed so much, does it necessarily mean that I was bad in following my goals? Surely it did not, But what it did mean was that I decided to set so many goals for myself to fill up the space, that like this void that I had in my life, because I was not doing anything that time consuming. Because in my head, it's like, if I don't have so many things to work on and stress out about, it just means that I'm underachieving and that my life isn't as full as somebody else's life and stuff like this. And so I filled my time with all of these goals. But then when the things that are actually valuable and God actually wants me to do came up, I just started stressing so much because of this thing that I set for myself. When it was time to, release these goals and say that I'm not gonna work on them because I just don't have time, I just don't have the energy to work on them anymore, I felt very guilty because I thought that it is necessary for me to work on them and stuff like this, but it was not. And so this year, I thought that the first and foremost thing that I want to be working on is creating this space for God to fill in with the things that He wants me to do. I started to think like, what are some of the ways that I can like open this space for myself spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And the physical things I knew. Even before it all started, I just knew that there are two things that I really want to do. The first one was to clear my bookshelf, because like it was holding so much weight of my past thinking, past ideas, and past beliefs that just anytime I approached it, I was like overwhelmed by all of this that I knew I was not going to read, but also like they're here, so like why would you buy them if you are not going to read them in the end? And so I decided to clear my bookshelf. I did it, and there's so much more space now for decorations and stuff like this, and it feels really nice. And there are books here that I left that I really do feel like I'm gonna be reading, which can also change somewhere in the future, but it's okay, because like in this 2-3 last months of the year, I have read more books that I had read like since like January, because I just felt that I don't owe anybody to read certain types of books. I don't owe anybody the amount of books I'm reading. I'm just doing it, for pleasure, for entertainment. And so I want to continue using this approach going into the next year. And the second thing is to clean my closet, and it's still yet to do because I didn't have a day off. I do have a day off today, but I'm not sure I will have time to do this anyways. But it's just, I thought that, I'm holding on again. I'm just holding on to so many things and to so many obligations and to so many like what ifs, that I do not have the freedom to just be who God wants me to be, who I want to be. These two things were the ones that I decided to get out of the way first. And other things in the physical area is just like my planner setup, and I was thinking about it for a while, what I want to do for it, but I will show you in the second part of this video on my table with my hands in the shot and everything like this. I will explain you in details what like books I'm using and stuff like this and where they're from, so you can understand my low buy like approach to this, cost effective and stuff like this. And the last thing, I would really want to create space in the way that I move my body and like the physical aspect of it, because I was really pressing to myself that if I'm not going to the gym, that it's not considered a workout and stuff like this. I still don't want to put any labels on it. I just want to move my body. That's what I want to do. I am really praying, and if you could pray with me, it will be spectacular, that I'll get on the University of Washington volleyball team, because volleyball is just a sport that I am created for. Like my body is just designed in a way that it's very effective when I'm playing volleyball, but it's still, nobody has reached out to me yet, because I have sent so many emails, but it's just so long. And so this is something that I'm praying for. The next area of my life that I wanted to talk about is my mental space, and I have struggled a lot. Like my brain is just constantly buzzing, constantly like solving problem, calculating things, and it is already hard enough to live with, but then if I add more like white noise to my brain, then I just totally feel overwhelmed all the time, just because it's just never calm. And slowly I started like cutting off things that I knew were like trash in my brain, and I deleted Instagram, and I haven't been on Instagram for a while now. I don't really know how long, because I stopped tracking at some point. And I have found a way to dismiss shorts from YouTube. Like I don't see shorts anymore, only long form content, and it really helped. It really did help. And then I also put a time limit on my Facebook so I can only see Facebook for 5 minutes at a time, because I also can scroll forever. And the lack of scrolling really helped me out, but I think I'm really ready for the next step, because I have increased my attention span for like from 30 seconds before to like half an hour now. I can concentrate for half an hour easily and I don't feel overwhelmed, but I still feel like there is a way to go here. And so at least for the months of January, I am planning not to consume any like shorter forms of content. Like I'm not going to be on YouTube except for my work, because I work for our church and I need to watch the videos for there, but it's not entertaining for the most part. And so I'm not going to be on YouTube at all. I'll be posting videos, and I don't think that I'm occasionally going to watch anything, just because I want to see how is it helpful, is it helping me to release space, or is it not really beneficial at all. But I have a huge list of movies that I want to watch, because I haven't been watching a lot of movies for the past few years, just because I didn't have time. And it is just so weird, like how do I not have time? I had time, you know, to scroll Instagram and YouTube and everything, and then I didn't have time for something that would like enrich my brain in so many other ways. But yeah, I have been finally watching movies this past month, and it was so amazing to just sit down and watch a movie without like breaks, without like, you know, snacking and constantly just catching up some other things to do. And it was really amazing, and I want to continue doing it. And I even found one show, but it's also like a longer show, so I think it'll be just very exciting. And one other thing, but I think it kind of covers a lot of, you know, spheres that I talked about, is to just ask for help earlier. I'm just such a person that if I have a problem, I will try to the last point to actually solve it myself, not ask anybody, not talk to anybody, do not like open up about it at all. And it leads me to a point where I'm totally exhausted and I totally feel like I am alone in it, but it's just because I created the circumstances for myself, if it makes sense. Like I made it so nobody knows about it, and I made it so nobody helps me about it, and now I feel lonely. And it's just all the product of my own decisions. And so I wanted to just open up about problems and ask people for help. And I'm not talking about physical problems, I rarely have those, but like mental problems and things I'm struggling with mentally and spiritually, I need to ask people to pray for me. I need to ask people to help me, explain me how like they are dealing with this stuff. I think it'll just create such a sense of unity between me and my friends and my family. And so this is something that I strive to try and incorporate in my life for the next year. I also worked on simplifying my Bible reading routine and my praying routine, but I'm going to be talking about it in a moment in the second part of the video. And also I just want to strive to do more self-motivated Bible studies. Like sometimes I'm reading and I'm finding this passage that I think it talks to me deeply, but I do not yet understand what exactly it's what it's saying. And so I wouldn't want to just skip over them because I still have like 5 more pages to read, but I want to just like at least write it down and then come back to it later and actually study it and see what it says and why God is like showing it to me. Last but not least, my emotional sphere. First and foremost, what I'm striving to, I've always strived to do it, but it's just so hard. The work-life balance, you know what I'm talking about, it's just so difficult to find it. Like you have so much to do in terms of your work, but then your life, like personal life, is struggling, or you're trying to do a lot in your personal life, but then work life struggling. It's just never ending cycle. But I have been able to find a pretty good balance in this last month when I've been trying to like, you know, get things out of the way and then enjoy my spare time more. And it's been really doing just wonders for my mental health, and I want to continue to do this. But because I will have an increasing workload after the New Year's Eve, like on January 6th again, my classes start, and I'll have like 3 full classes, and then in the end of January I'm going to be working in the deck crew for the play, which will take most of my evenings. And then one of my classes is also Greek Accelerated, and I'm going to be studying Greek, which is a lot of work to do. So it's going to be a lot of work, and so in this a lot of work I the more I want to do the separation between the work and the free time, so I do not feel like I'm drowning. And one of the things that I really want to be practicing is, we talked to our pastor, my husband and I, because we don't have time to enjoy as a family, and he was like just walking us through the process of finding this time, and we decided that we'll make this like family Saturday. On Saturday we generally just have soul winning in the morning as a church, and then we're kind of free, but we were usually like doing grocery shopping and doing some of these chores that we didn't have time to finish. But now we're going to be consciously trying to just take this time for the two of us and spend this time together. And also there is one other journal I'm going to show you that I also want to be using as an emotional like outlet for my feelings. And yeah, this is the last portion where you all see my face, and I'd really appreciate it if you shared your thoughts in the comments of your like process of preparing yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually for the new year, and if some of the things that I talked about resonated with you in any way. And my prayer for us for this year is to, just release all these things that are just holding us back. It says, I don't remember where in Corinthians, I believe, when Paul was talking about not every sin in our lives is a sin, but some of it is weights, and it's just weighing us down. And once we release it, it's just so much easier to run the race. And our life is totally a race, and the better we run it, the easier it gets. And so, yeah, I would like to release some weight this upcoming year. If you would like to, just comment down below, and I'll see you by my desk. Okay, welcome back to my table. I'm gonna be trying and flying through this because my camera just doesn't have a lot of life left in the battery. But first and foremost, one of the things that I said I'm gonna be using for my emotional well-being is this little thing. I have found it somewhere in a thrift store, and it was supposed to be like a date calendar for every month, maybe for the birthdays, maybe for some other things, but I'm gonna be using it as one line a day. I was really trying to get into like memory keeping and stuff, but it's just really hard for me to do dedicated things. But when I found this one, I thought maybe it will be very easy to do this one, and so I'm going to be attempting to do a one line a day in here. Then for my usual planner, almost nothing really changed, and nothing is really going to be changing much. A few inserts that I have made or found for the next year are this Bible reading plan that has a new section for every day of the week, and it goes over a certain part of the Bible. I thought it's really amazing. I'm going to be reading my Bible in Spanish this year just to work on it more on the background. And then this little insert here that has all the months and then all the dates, which has like basically 365 days here. It's for my prayer. I'm just going to be tracking whether I prayed or not. I just want to be easier on me. Another thing that I have made is this book gallery section. Here I'm going to be tracking the books I read, and on the other side I made like a library thing where I'm going to be printing and putting in the cover. I think I might be doing the same for the movies, but as for now I'm just like putting a list here, and if I watched it I put a tick next to it like this, and it's been working wonders. I also think I'm not going to be using a full-scale period tracker for the next year. I'm just going to be doing it on this little one that I have printed before. I'm just going to be sticking it somewhere else, and I'm just going to be tracking my period here because it just takes so much space. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be making some sort of insert for my calendars because I don't like the way they work for me right now, but I just don't have time and energy to do it, so I am not doing it as of now. I have also printed this unfolding thing for my play schedule that I'm going to be working behind the scenes on, so I have it here. And I'm also going to be making something for tracking my assignments and stuff like this, but as for now it just stays where it is. And I have told you before that I have this other cover that I got from a stale save because they were just giving it for free, and so I might be transferring at some point of the year. I might be transferring everything into this one, maybe at the warmer time, but not of now. I adore these things. I'm here every day. Next thing is this funny guy. I also found it in the thrift store, and it's just a simple ruled planner, and I'm gonna be using it in a way that people use their commonplace book. I was trying to understand what it was all about, but I wasn't reaching it for a while. But then I just read a quote and I thought I need to write it down, and so here it came. So I think I'll be just writing down quotes and my thoughts as I go into this one. Again, I bought it for, I don't know, 69 cents from Goodwill Beans. So if you want something like this, I'm afraid I cannot help you with this one. I'm sorry. And the last but not least is this pretty guy. I also got it from a thrift store. I think it was Value Village, but I started using it as my prayer journal because it's really hard for me to sit down and like pray talking wise, because I either have somebody at home or I just don't know. It's just very hard for me. But writing things down as I'm talking to God was very beneficial because I do not lose focus as often as I used to. And I don't know, it's just all here, and I could go through it and see when I prayed for something and how fast like God answered me. And maybe he answered not in the way that I expected he would, but I think it's also very pretty, very vintage, and just very whimsical. I like it a lot. And that's everything. I told you I'm not going to be doing a lot. It looks like a lot, but honestly, this is the planner. This is a maybe substitute for the cover prayer journal, what you would call it, a commonplace book, and then one line a day thing. And so this is it, what I'm going to be using for the next year. And I hope maybe it gave you some inspiration to start preparing for the new year, maybe something else. But I just would like you to write in the comments what you thought about today's video, and if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I just would really love to have your company here, so it does not feel like I'm talking to myself that much. And so I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.